beings we're closest to. Isn't that fascinating?
Yeah.
Freud talks a lot about our dreams. Our dreams are tied to our unconscious. You can learn all sorts of things about yourself if you understand your dreams. That's what Freud is talking about. He gives us a new way of looking at the world and ourselves. My father once told me, a Jew's only mission in life is to obey God. Sometimes, I'm just not sure what God wants.
You know, Danny, people are always saying that you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but you, your book, and your cover are from entirely different planets. I mean, you look like a Chassid, but you don't sound like one.
And how's a Chassid supposed to sound?
Not like you. Freud? Hemingway? Sounds like you don't even believe in God.
I believe in God. I never said I don't believe in God.
Are you really going to be a rabbi?
Yes, I'm going to take my father's place. My family has been leading our people for 6 generations.
Wow.
So what do I sound like?
What?
If I don't sound like a Chassid, what do I sound like?
Like an epicurus. Wait, oh, here comes my father. I'm glad you can meet him. But this is Danny Saunders. Danny, this is my father.
Well, Danny, I see you play baseball as fiercely as you read.
You're David Malter? I had no idea.
What's going on?
How would you have? We only discussed literature. I never told you my name.
You're the man from the library? You gave him Hemingway?
Ah, I see Danny has already confided in you his reading habits.
Why didn't you tell me?
I didn't think it was for me to tell.
Even after the accident,
When he comes into the library where I'm doing research, a chassid. He sits down in a corner where he can't be seen. We nod, smile. This goes on for a few days. After a while, he comes over and he asks me for a recommendation. Anything that is worthwhile. I recommend a book, and 2 hours later he comes back and he has not only read it and understood it, it seems he has memorized it. We discuss it for a while, and I recommend another. The same thing happens. All I understand is that here is a hungry young mind, and I do my best to nourish it with worthwhile food. Later, the librarian tells me that this is Danny Saunders, Reb Saunders' son, and I understand the need for secrecy. I didn't think it was for me to tell, you understand?
I'm very grateful, Mr. Malter.
No need. Soon you will not need anyone to make recommendations. Have you started reading Freud, as you said?
A little. I'm trying to learn German first, so I can read him in the original.
I see. Yes, of course.
I'd better get going. I'll come again on Shabbos, if it's okay with you.
Yeah, sure. Bye.
Come, my little baseball player. We're going home.
As I rode home from the hospital with my father that June afternoon, put on my spare glasses, the world seemed to suddenly leap into focus. Everything seemed fresh and clean and new. I remember walking into our apartment, I felt as though I were actually seeing it for the first time. The worn gray carpet, the pictures of Herzl and Chaim Weizmann in the entrance hall, the smell of chicken soup, my room, my desk, my books, the pictures of Albert Einstein and Roosevelt that I'd cut out of Senior Scholastic and pasted on my wall. Everything, even the ailanthus tree outside my window, seemed sharpened and pulsing with life. I remember feeling as though I'd crossed into another world, as if a piece of myself lay shattered in the schoolyard along with my glasses. Was it really last Sunday that the baseball game happened? Only 5 days ago? Is Danny Saunders really what I seem him to be, or maybe there's something about him that I'm not seeing clearly? That night, I sat with my father at the Shabbat table. Can you tell me about the world that Danny Saunders lives in?
Well, you know about the story of how the Hasidim came to be, how the Baal Shem Tov answered the needs of the Jewish masses in Europe. What you do not know is about the leaders of the various Hasidic sects. The Hasidim had great leaders called tzaddikim, righteous ones. Each community had its own tzaddik, and they would go to him with all their problems, and he would give them advice. They followed these leaders blindly. The Hasidim believed that the tzaddik was a superhuman link between them and God. Every word of his, every action of his was holy. Even the food he touched was holy. For example, they would grab the food scraps from his plate and eat them, because they believed that the food had somehow become holy through his touch, and they wanted some of this holiness inside themselves. At first, the tzaddikim were kind and gentle souls, like the Baal Shem Tov himself, But in the century following the Baal Shem Tov, the movement began to degenerate. Most of the positions of tzaddik became inherited posts, passing automatically from father to son, even if the son himself was not a great leader. Some of the tzaddikim lived like oriental monarchs. A few were out-and-out frauds, and they exploited their followers horribly. Others were very sincere, and a few were even great scholars of the Talmud. In some of the Hasidic sects, the study of the Talmud became as important as it had been in the yeshivot of Lithuania before the Baal Shem Tov. Secular literature began to be forbidden. The Hasidim lived shut off from the rest of the world. Anything not Jewish and Hasidic was forbidden. Their lives became frozen. For example, the clothes they wear today are the same Polish clothes they wore hundreds of years ago. But not all the Hasidic communities are identical. The Hasidim of Russia, of Germany, of Poland and Hungary are different from one another. They're not very different, but different. There are even some Hasidic groups that believe their leaders should take upon themselves the sufferings of the Jewish people.
How can that be?
You're surprised, but it is true. They believe that their sufferings would be unendurable if the leader did not somehow absorb them into himself. A strange belief, but a very important one as far as they're concerned. Reuben, Reb Saunders is a great Talmudist and a great tzaddik. He has a reputation for brilliance and compassion. They say he believes that the soul is as important as the mind, if not more so. He inherited his position from his father.
So that means when he dies, the position goes automatically to Danny.
You're not asleep yet, I see.
No, Hava.
You're a very patient student. I think I'll have some more tea. Tea is a blessing, especially to a school teacher who must always give long answers to short questions. Reuben, listen very carefully to what I tell you now. Reb Saunders' son is a terribly torn and lonely boy. He has literally no one in the world he can talk to. He needs a friend. The accident with the baseball has bound him to you, and he already senses in you someone that he can talk to without fear. I'm very proud of you for that. He would never have told you about his visit to the library if he did not believe you would keep his words a secret trust. I think you should make him your friend and let him make you his friend. And now the lecture is over. I will finish my tea and go to bed.
I can't believe that all this happened from a silly baseball game.
Reuben, as you get older, you will learn that the most important things in your life will happen as a result of silly things, as you call them. Ordinary things would be a better expression. That is simply the way the world is.
This entire week, it's been like something out of another world. The hospital, the people I met there, like seeing the world anew, all because of a baseball game. Weeks and weeks go by. One Shabbat follows another, and I'm the same. And then all of a sudden, something happens, and everything changes.
Dear Reuben, it's a tragedy your mother is not alive to see you today. Let's go to bed. We'll talk more tomorrow.
I thought we'd go over to my father's show today. He wants to meet you.
Where is it?
On Sharon Avenue, just off Lee.
5 blocks? Only 5 blocks? Why does it feel like you're from another planet? Is this okay? I don't have a captain, you know.
That sweater is fine. Captains are only required for members of the fold.
Okay, member of the fold. So, why does your father want to meet me?
Well, I told him we're friends, so he wants to meet me. Is that okay?
Sure.
I mean that I told him we're friends.
That's fine.
My father, he has to approve of my friends, especially if they're outside of the fold.
Oh, so your father wants to know why you'd be friends with the Napikoras, huh?
I guess. All he said was, I'll meet him. I was surprised he said that much.
Right. You said you two don't talk much. But you don't mean never, right?
Hardly ever. I'll meet him was a long conversation.
I don't understand. He talks to your mother?
Yes.
And your little brother?
Sure, him too.
But not you?
No.
I hate that.
It isn't pleasant, but he's a great man, and I'm sure he has his reasons.
Well, my father's a great man.
You have no idea of the life he's had to lead. He's had to be a tzaddik since he was only a little older than you and me. And this was in Russia before the Great War. And he was married, and he had a son, and more than 1,000 followers. And then one night, when he was only about 25,